Hey, good afternoon. Russell of Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it, right? Today's a daily check-in. Today's Wednesday, hump day. So happy hump day to everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. This is the daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. I do this every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? Not to be confused with On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about. That was on yesterday. That was every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. In fact, I'm gonna talk a little bit about that in a little while, right? But yeah, so it was a great show yesterday. If you didn't see it, you need to check it out. But first, before I even get into all that, let me make sure that I am live on the platforms I'm supposed to be live on. And I'm supposed to be live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Okay. Did I say Facebook? Yeah, I did say Facebook, right? So if you're on either one or either one of those platforms, please feel free to say, hey, what's going on? The chat is open. The chat is always open, right? That's one thing that I always want to do. Keep the chat open, keep it going, right? You'd be like this. Yeah, keep it coming, keep it coming. So, yeah, so keep all the comments because it's all about engagement here. And I don't like to just talk by myself, right? I like to, chat it up with other people. So feel free to get in the chat, say what's going on, how you doing, whatever, but let me know where you're located too. So if you're in Los Angeles, say you're in Los Angeles. If you're in Spain, Barcelona, Spain, say you're in Barcelona, Spain. That's all right because it's all about the reach. It's all about the reach. It's all about where you are. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you, right? So anyway, so real quick, let me just get this thing started. I want to reach out and thank somebody. So yesterday I talked a little bit about yesterday's show. So I want to thank you. Just a real quick thank you to Rick, the water guy. He was on yesterday. The show was awesome. I was gonna say the show was fire, but it was awesome. It was good information. A lot of things that we don't think about, right? Water pressure. How does that affect the guest experience, right? A lot of things these days, people are looking at guest experience, and a lot of times they point to like TripAdvisor and all these sites where people complain, not necessarily complain, but they can say good things, they can say bad things, they can be indifferent about their stay. But it's important these days, right? Because people have access, right? They have access, and other people are listening, other people are watching. So if there's some issue with water pressure and things like that, that does affect, the guest experience, right? So there's certain things that we could be doing to minimize that. And Rick, the water guy, made a point to bring all that stuff out, right? So we kind of just scratched the surface on some of the stuff, right? But it's only an hour show, right? So we scratched the surface, but we talked enough about it. So thank you to Rick, the water guy. He was on yesterday's On Air with Russell of Hotel. So if you did not see that, don't worry, it's on the replay. Just go to the same platform. You can go to Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. Okay, those three platforms, you'll be able to see it. It was show number 355. It's easy to find. It's right here. If you're on LinkedIn, just go to my profile, which that's where you're looking at this on, right? Just click to the profile. That's the one that's right under this one, and you'll see it. And you'll be like, oh my God, this is good. This is great. Oh my God, that Russell of Hotels. Where does he find these guests from? Oh my God, they're great. So yeah, I'm here for all that. I'm here for all that. So once again, thank you, Rick, the water guy. I do appreciate you coming on. In fact, I still have Rick's. You know what? Let's give a little promo here. I still have his logo here, so let's throw his logo up there. Indoor Water Conservation. That's the name of his company. That's the logo right there. So feel free to, if you didn't get the information yesterday. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna do one better for you. I think I still have his email. So if you had any questions at all for Rick, you want him to come in and do an assessment, or his team to come in to do an assessment. That's his email right there, right? So I still have, where am I? Bing, 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 right there. So that's his real name, Skinker, and then that's his email at the bottom right there. So feel free to reach out to him. And once again, thank you, Rick. I do appreciate you coming on. And we met on LinkedIn, right? That's how we met. We met on LinkedIn. He saw some of the stuff I was posting. He reached out. and then went from there, right? So that's how it all starts. That's how every conversation I have with anyone on any of these talk shows or any of my talk shows, they start off with basically LinkedIn. You see me on LinkedIn, and it's all about visibility, right? So if people don't think that LinkedIn is like for business development, shame on you. If people don't think that visibility is the key to building your brand, you're crazy. Okay. Where you been? Where you hiding? Okay. So anyway, let me get up. Let me get off my soapbox. Let me get off my soapbox. I see Kevin. What's going on, Kevin? That's my cousin KO. What's going on? And I'm not sure where he is. He either in Arizona. Kevin can be anywhere in the world. Okay, so I'm not even sure where he is, but it's good that he's on. Thank you so much, Kevin. I do appreciate you coming on. And hello to my Aunt Doris, please, for me if you don't mind. And okay, so let's move forward. Let's move on. Let me just move this out of the way. Let me move this out of the way. So okay, replace it with my logo. Oh, and before you know what? I need to give a shout out too. So I thank Rick for yesterday. Then, quick shout out. In fact, I got a little shout out thing now, right? So I'm like, can you guys see that? I don't know if it's too small, but a quick shout out, if it's too small, it's too small. You know what I mean? A quick shout out to Jace. Okay. So Jace is he's a sales manager at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Now, last week I reached out to him because I have a group that's interested in a couple hotels in Hollywood, right? So, and it was last minute, right? I said, hey, my clients will, they want things last minute too. They'll, not necessarily put you in a bind or whatever, but hey, they're the client, right? So you have to do what you have to do. So when a client calls me and says, hey, I need to come see this hotel because we're close to making a decision, and I think we may like this particular hotel or these hotels in Hollywood. So what do? I call up, you know, the people that I know there, right? The people that send me the RFPs, and Jace was one of them, or send me the proposal, and Jace was one of them. So I reached out to him and said, hey, client wants to come in. I think it was like the next day, right? And he was like, okay, that's fine. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. So he changed his whole schedule for, this client to come in and see, and so that he can see them, so that they can meet him. They could, do a site tour at the hotel. And the client purposely didn't want me there, right? They wanted, to go by themselves, which is fine. Hey, that's the client. They're the client, right? However they want to do it, that's fine. So, but Jace opened, just rolled out the red carpet as only a Hollywood hotel could do, right? The Hollywood Roosevelt could do, right? And they love the history of that hotel. They love everything about that hotel. They love Jace. So I appreciate that. And you know what? You always give credit where credit is due. So thank you, Jace. I appreciate you coming in. In fact, we set up a lunch for me. So I mean, we set up an appointment because I've been in a hotel in a while, right? I was there actually last month, but I didn't know Jace there. In fact, Jace just started not that long ago, right? I didn't know he was there or didn't know who he was. So I'm going to go there tomorrow and meet him and see the hotel in its entirety because I have not seen it in a while. So that's going to be good. So that's tomorrow. I have an appointment with Jace, and basically that happened today, right? I said, hey, I'm available tomorrow to come out. Is it okay? He said, yeah. What time? I said 11:30. He said, done. Let's do it. That's what I'm talking about. Sales managers that communicate, that will communicate and accommodate. Man, I just came up with that, right? I just pulled that out of something. Okay. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you where I pulled it out of, but it's all about communicate and accommodate. And a sales manager that does that is a sales manager that probably is pretty darn successful. Okay. Because some sales managers will make it hard for you to do a lot of things, right? But communicate and accommodate. That's what man, where'd that come from? That just came out. Okay. Did you hear that, Craig? So no, I appreciate that. I see aloha, Craig. What's going on, Craig? Sounds like great content. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, but thank you so much again, Miss Jace, I mean, Mr. J, excuse me, Mr. Jace. I appreciate that. And I'm gonna see him tomorrow. And then of course, I don't know. I may do a live from the Hollywood Roosevelt. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll keep you posted on what's going on. So anytime I do one of these shows, I always say this. Anytime I do one of these shows, I'm always going to showcase a hotel or highlight a hotel. And today is no different. So let's move on from this. And the hotel is the Ambrose Hotel in Santa Monica. So I don't know. Some hotels, can I say this? Should I say this? Some hotels, they may do a good job of selling, but they don't do a good job of marketing. Okay. So that's where Russell Hotels comes in, right? So that's where I come in, right? So just kind of highlight hotels that maybe people have not heard of, maybe they forgot about. Santa Monica, we're in Santa Monica, it's on 20th Street. Okay. So, most of the hotels are in or around Ocean Boulevard, right? That's the major thoroughfare that goes through, for the tourist that goes through Santa Monica, right? Well, this hotel is off the beaten path. I mean, literally off the beaten path. But it's not too far from Ocean Boulevard and some of the touristy areas. But it's a smaller hotel, 77 guest rooms, 378. That's right. It wasn't a typo. 378 square feet, meaning they have one boardroom that accommodates about 14 people, which is fine. I mean, because it's not a huge hotel. They don't need a lot of space. They just need to be good at what they do, right? So there's a lot of corporate, businesses that are around this area, and they do well for that. They do a lot of transient business. So it's not a big group house by any stretch of the imagination. They probably would do a buyout and things like that. So there's a lot of options or opportunities, for some larger, or maybe they're not that large, but maybe 100 people or whatever, they can take over the entire hotel, and that would be great. I'm sure that would be ideal for the Ambrose in Santa Monica. But yeah, very nice hotel. I only know about it because a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, is a director of sales there. So when she first started there, she said, "Hey, I'm at the Ambrose." I'm like, where's that? You don't know, you're Russell of Hotels and you don't know where the Ambrose is? I said, no, I don't. Tell me where it is. And she told me. I'm like, okay. And I drove by there, actually went there to visit her. And I'm like, I've driven by this thing 100 times and I didn't even know it was a hotel. Okay. So, wow. So I'm like, oh, okay. This is it's charming. I'm going to say it's a charming hotel. Craig says, Russell, you pulled that out of the right side of your brain. That is the creative side. Well done. Thank you. Oh, boy. Craig said he stayed there years ago, and it's near, exactly right around the corner, down the street, right around the corner. You're absolutely right. So Craig knows the hotel, and a father-daughter built that. Yeah, I know it's owned by a lady. I know that it's woman owned, 100% woman owned. So yeah. So the hotel very well. But like I said, I didn't know. I've driven by this thing 100 times. I'm like, that's a hotel? Until I saw the address. I'm like, and then I happened to see the sign out front. I'm like, oh, this is the Ambrose. Okay. It's cute. It's charming. I like the hotel because once you go in there, I'm like, okay, this is nice. I can see it. I can see it. So who's calling me? These people calling me. I tell you. Let me just make sure it didn't answer. Let me make sure that didn't answer. Okay. So yeah, so it's a nice hotel, nice small hotel, 77 rooms, one meeting room space, and I'll show you the meeting space. It's a boardroom, about 14 people. It fits. So yeah, so you can take over the entire hotel. You can own the hotel. Okay, your group can own the hotel. So my job is to market where they can or where they're not, right? So if I need to, highlight, hotels, that's what I do, right? That's what I do. That's what Russell of Hotels does. That's my job, is to highlight hotels, let people know these hotels exist, because you may not have known. Like I said, I didn't know it existed. I've driven by this thing 100 times, like I said already, and I'm like, that's a hotel right there. So shout out to Portia Lawrence, who is the director of sales there, and a dear friend of mine. And she showed me around, gave me a tour, all that stuff. That's a king bed. Of course, they have doubles as well. I'm not sure what the ratio is, kings to double, because that's always important, right? What's the ratio of king beds to double beds? That's always important, especially when you're, for groups and stuff like that. So, and this is the outside area. So when you walk up, you're walking through this kind of garden patio area, which is ideal. So I don't think this is included in the square footage, because I would think if you're going to buy it out or rent out that particular space, you can rent this out, and it probably can do, I don't know, close to, I would say 50 to 75 people out. I guess depends on the configuration or the tables that you use or whatever. But I mean, that's another space that's probably unused for the most part, that you can use for, maybe a reception, or kind of I don't know, a little party, little cocktail party or something like that, cocktail reception out on the lawn or the patio kind of thing. So I think it's kind of cool, right? I mean, I think the possibilities are endless. Okay. It's just that you have to have the imagination. I'm not the creative person that can do all that. I'm the one that shows you the hotels, right? The planner has to do all that stuff. Do they still have the old black London taxi car there we use as their signage out front? No, I did not. I didn't see that, Craig. That's a good one. I have to ask that question. Lobby was beautiful last time I was there. It's nice. It's small, but it's nice. And they have like a little library area off the little lobby area. Cocktail party all the way. See, that's what I'm talking about. Cocktail party. I think that would work, right? I think the possibilities are endless. It's just, I think that people need to get out and tell, yes, you are very creative. Oh, no, I don't know about that, but but thanks. I'll accept that. But yeah, so I just think that, there's hotels that are out there that we pay more attention. I've said this before, so it's nothing new. Nothing new coming from me, that we do a lot of selling, but we do less marketing than we do selling. Okay. We don't consider what's branding, what's marketing. We don't know that leads, the branding and marketing is what leads to the selling. Okay. Sometimes we put the cart before the horse, and we think because we could be booking business, that we're marketing too. No, you're not. That's selling. Okay. So like I said, not that I have to be the barometer for, if I knew this hotel, then that means someone marketed it to me. Well, to me, it didn't exist until someone I knew worked there. Okay. So I guess that's kind of form of marketing, because she told me, she goes, well, I'm here at the Ambrose Hotel. Where's the Ambrose Hotel? You don't know where it is? Just tell me where it is. Okay. It's on 20th Street. Okay, 20th Street. Okay, next time I'm in Santa Monica, I'm going to drive by there. And I made it a point to go over there because I wanted to see her and see her new digs, right? So I drove over there and like, oh my God, I know this area. I've driven by this place 100 times, and I didn't know it was a hotel. Okay, because you can mistake it for an apartment complex or something like that, a small apartment complex. You could easily, if you're just driving by, you wouldn't even think about it. Like, keep going unless you saw the sign. Even the sign, it has to say Ambrose Hotel. If it just said the Ambrose, you can just say, okay, that's an apartment complex, right? But getting back to, like I said, the marketing piece, we need to do more marketing than selling. I check out their social media. They do some social media stuff, but it's not enough. It's just, you got to be consistent. You can't just do it every now and then. Marketing is a full-time job, people. I mean, people, they tend to think, because we have this thing called social media, is that it's easier. Yeah, it's easier to put things out, but you still have to be consistent, because guess what? Everyone's looking at something. Everybody's posting something. And you have to, people they have a limited time. They have a limited attention, right? They have the attention span of a gnat. You know what a gnat is? A gnat goes from place to place bothering people, right? That's what people's attention, at least mine is. that's how my attention span is, right? So you got to have something, an explosion or something to keep me focused for at least that second. Like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Let me hold on one second. Let me look. Let me continue to look at this, right? And that's how it works, right? But the more you post things, um, meaning content, the more someone's likely to see it. So once again, I always say this: social media is not for the people that know who you are or that you exist. It's for the people that don't know who you are or that you exist. Okay. So there you go. So that's why I post things continuously. I'm doing four show oh, not four shows, two shows, but I do it 5 days a week, right? I do two shows 5 days a week. Monday through Friday, I'm doing something. Okay. And the only reason is because there's people out there that don't know who I am or what I do or how I can help them, right? So that's my job to do that. And I know it's a full-time job, but I've taken on that assignment, right? It's a tough assignment, Russell. Are you up to it? Yeah, I'm up to it. Let's do it. Yeah. So that's what I do. So whatever you need to do, whatever gets you excited, then you draw from that, right? So if silliness gets me excited and makes me want to do this, well then damn it, that's what I'm gonna do, right? So anyway, so once again, shout out to the Ambrose Hotel and Portia Lawrence. So if you need anything, she's the director of sales there. Just tell her Russell of Hotel sent you, right? Just tell her. Just tell her. And this is the front desk area, right? So it's relatively small. I mean, it's two. I don't know why they have, two terminals there, but they do, right? So I guess sometimes there's two people that can check in 77 rooms, right? So hey, whatever. That's not my thing, but I love the hotel. I love it. Like I said, is I love the it's small, it's quaint, it's cute. I like that. I like that. So yeah. So I would definitely check it out if you're in Santa Monica. You need something in Santa Monica. Check out this hotel opposed to some of the other ones because some of the other ones could be rather pricey. Don't get me wrong, all of Santa Monica can be pricey, all right? But the closer you get to the water, if you're on Ocean Boulevard, which is right across from the pier, right across from the beach, that park and all that stuff. If you're over in that area, down the street from numerous restaurants, high end restaurants, yeah, the prices are going to be kind of pricey. And I think Santa Monica, especially in the summer, or I remember a couple years ago, I was like, oh, they're 350 and up. Right now, it's like 450 and up. 450, 500, depending on when it is. I mean, there's some days in the summer it's like over that, well over $1,000 a night. Okay, so there you go. So this could be an option to that. I would say it's going to be less. You're going to pay less here than you would at some of the hotels on Ocean Boulevard, and it's not that far away. So there you go. There you go. Thought I say that. Thought I say that. So okay. Anyway, let's get into this, right? So we don't know what we don't know. So that's my topic for today. We don't know what we don't know. What does that mean, Russell? You always come up with some stuff. Where do you pull this stuff out of, man? So this is a follow-up from yesterday. Yesterday's On Air with Russell of Hotels. That's when I had, and that's my phone right there, so that's okay. When I had Mr. Rick, the water guy, on the show, something come up where I said, hotels don't know what they don't know. And he was like in agreement. So I'm going to read this to you real quick. Hold on one second. So the topic is you don't know what you don't know. Yesterday on Air with Russell of Hotels, I had the pleasure of interviewing or speaking with or having a conversation with Mr. Rick Skinker, better known as Rick the Water Guy, okay, founder of Indoor Water Conservation. We were talking about water conservation in hotels when I made a statement that really resonated with both of us. And I said, you don't know what you don't know. Rick immediately agreed. And the more we talked, the more I realized that this just isn't about water conservation. It's a lesson that applies to every department in a hotel, right? In every hotel. So think about it. How often do we assume we're doing everything we can because we've always done it a certain way. Think about that. Okay. There's a lot of people that work in hotels that, oh, we always done it this way. That's why we do it, right? And nothing ever changes. How often do we believe our sales? How often do we believe our sales process, operations, marketing, or guest experience couldn't possibly improve because no one has ever questioned it? We've been doing it for years. What, my predecessor did it. We're going to continue to do it this way. The truth is, sometimes our biggest opportunities are the ones we don't even know exist. So I got 3 points, of course, I always make, right? So 3 points. So bear with me. We ain't gonna be that long. Just relax. Okay. Number one, don't assume, assess. Don't assume, assess. Rick explained that many hotels believe they're conserving water because they've installed low flow fixtures or launched sustainability initiatives. But until someone performs a professional water assessment, they really don't know where water is being used or wasted. Okay. So don't assume, assess. So I'm starting talking about, the water usage and all that, but it applies to a lot of the departments that we have in the hotels, right? We just assume that things are the way they are. We don't assess anything. We just keep it going, right? So we assume, going back to, to Rick, we assume a lot of, the general manager or the chief engineer or, whatever. We assume that because we install these low flow, shower heads, that it's actually conserving water. But unless you've done an assessment to see, you've measured the water that's coming through, versus, a period of time, you will really never know, right? So we just assume and we just keep going. And that's where we don't know what we don't know, right? Because we've always done it this way. So we're going to continue to do this way until someone tells us any different. And that's something. Isn't that something? The same principle applies across hospitality. Do we know our website is telling us the right story? Do we know that? Do we know our sales process is as effective as it could be? Do we know guests are having the experience we think they are having? Assumptions don't create improvement. Assessments do. So sometimes we got to scratch the surface, go below the surface, right? The organizations that continue to grow are the ones willing to evaluate, ask questions, and challenge what they think they already know. I'm getting deep here today, people. Okay, I'm getting deep. All right. And I only got a couple minutes to do it. So, number 2, hidden opportunities are everywhere. One of the things Rick shared was how often hotels uncover inefficiencies they never knew existed. That made me think about hospitality as a whole. How many opportunities are sitting right in front of us? Maybe it's reducing operating expenses. Maybe it's improving the guest journey. Maybe it's making your hotel more discoverable through AI. Or maybe it's simply changing a process that's been in place for years because that's the way we've always done it. Sometimes the greatest opportunity isn't finding something new, it's discovering what we've been overlooking all along. Man, I'm preaching today. Number 3, small improvements, and this is the last one. Small improvements can deliver big results. One of the biggest takeaways from yesterday's conversation is that improvement doesn't always require a major investment. Because his fee is free, right? The assessment is free. They'll come in and do a whole assessment of your water usage and everything for free. So it doesn't cost any money to do it, right? So, this doesn't require a major investment, but we always assume that it does. So we're never going to do it. Like, oh my God, we're not going to do that. So, oh no, that's going to cost too much. No, it's free. Free 99. Isn't that the best kind of deal? Free 99. Sometimes it's a fresh perspective. Sometimes it's bringing in an expert. Sometimes it's asking one simple question that no one has asked before. Small improvements can reduce costs improve efficiency, enhance the guest experience, and have a meaningful impact on your bottom line. Doesn't everyone want that? Okay. In closing, I want to thank Rick again, Rick the Water Guy, once again for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels and sharing his expertise with our hospitality community. So if you missed yesterday, you need to check it out. So if you missed yesterday's episode, I encourage you to catch the replay. The replay is still on this thing. It will always be here. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to delete it. So if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, my page, right, is going to be there. All right. It's never going to go anywhere. So you can check it out at your leisure. Okay. So whether you're a hotel owner, asset manager, general manager, engineer, or management company executive, there are valuable lessons that extend far beyond water conservation. So I'll leave you with this one thought. One of the most expensive phrases in business is, "We've always done it that way." And one of the most important reminders is, you don't know what you don't know. So the moment we stop assuming and start asking questions is the moment we begin to grow. So until next time, be intentional, be real, and be visible. That's it. Okay. So I don't see any, let's see, do I see any questions? Let me just go over here and make sure. Yes, you are. Oh, no. I see Stan the Skywalker. Thank you so much for joining. Craig, thank you for coming on as well. Kevin, thank you. Love you too, man. So yeah, so that is it. I think that is it. So yeah. So once again, this is the Daily Check-In with Russell of Hotels. I do this every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The time is unknown, right? It just depends on when I have time to do it. And it just happened to be about 1:30-ish. I said, okay, let's get it done, right? So, but I'm going to do it, right? So it's going to either be done in the morning or in the afternoon. There you go. So there you go. But once again, it's not about, for me, it's not about, am I going to check it out, the live portion of it. I would love people to be on a live and make comments in real time, but that's not realistic for everybody, right? It's not realistic for me either. But the beauty in this is that it will always be there. So the replay will be there forever. So you can just go and check it out at your leisure. Check it out. If you have comments, you can always make comments. They just won't be in real time where I can put them on the screen, but you can always make comments. Okay. And I appreciate that as well. So that is it. You guys have a great day. Happy hump day. And we will see you tomorrow, because tomorrow's Thursday and I'll be at the Hollywood Roosevelt. So maybe I'll do it live from there. I'm not sure. It just depends on, what the setup is and what I'm doing and all that kind of stuff, right? There's a lot of variables here, right? So I wish I could just say, yeah, I'm going to do it. And I do. And I get there and it's just not the right timing, right? It's not the right time to do it, but we're going to see. But if I can do it, I definitely will. So until tomorrow, you guys have a great